All right, what's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you how to construct a prototype circuit using a breadboard. So this is a breadboard. I'm going to give you a quick introduction on the advantages and how to connect components in a circuit, and how to connect a circuit using a breadboard. So this one here is a regulator. I have a 7.5 volts coming into the regulator, and the regulator can give you 5 volts output or 3 volts output. It depends on the position of this jumper. But back to the breadboard. So on the top part of the breadboard and on the bottom, you have what is called the power rails. And notice here that there is a plus and a minus sign. That means that this rail here is a positive power rail, and this one is ground, or the negative power rail, okay? And this one is the same thing, the positive and the negative. If you don't have a regulator, you can get a 9-volt battery, and using one of these connectors, you can connect the 9-volt battery to this and connect these two cables directly into the power rail, okay? Keep in mind that if you connect to this side of if you connect the battery to this side of the power rail, these two power rails are completely they're not active. There is no voltage here, so you're gonna have to jump using one of these jumper wires. You see this green here, this is a jumper wire. You can connect from one side of the power rail to the other one. Of course, you need to connect both of them. You need to connect positive and ground in order to be able to use both power rails, okay? So that is one thing that I wanted to mention. The next thing that I wanted to mention is how to connect the components on the board. So take a look at these rails here. These columns are called rails. They are internally connected using wires inside the breadboard. So if you connect a component, let's take for example this LED. If you connect a component in the same rail, notice that component is, I don't know if the zoom is it's good enough so you guys can see it, but I'm hoping it is. If you connect both legs of the component in the same rail, you pretty much short circuiting the component. It's not going to work. So you need to connect the component across the rails, okay? So one leg is on one rail and the other leg is on the other rails, okay? And then you use the rails in order to connect that component to another component, or using a jumper wire. All right, so that's the first thing. Notice that you have this bridge in the middle, which means that these rails here are not connected with these rails here. There is no connection between this rail and this rail. Even though they are in the same column, there is no connection. All right, so that is in a nutshell how the breadboard is connected inside. The breadboard allows you for quick prototyping of circuits without having to solder the components on a PC board. So you can put it together real quick, test it out using a multimeter, and then disconnect the components and reuse them again for the next project. So that is the advantage of the breadboard. So there are two circuits that I want to show you using a practical example for this video. And for that, you need a multimeter. And the first circuit that we're going to test is this circuit right here. And notice that we have a 5-volt battery. We also have a 10K resistor and a 100 microfarad capacitor, and we are going to measure how long it takes for the capacitor to fully charge to the voltage of the power supply. All right, I don't know if you guys watched my video on charging of the capacitor in DC circuits, but when you're calculating the time constant of the circuit is resistance times the capacitor. So if we plug in the numbers here, we have 10 times 10 to the 3 times 100 times 10 to the minus 6. All right, so the RC constant here is approximately 1 second. All right, so in order to fully charge the capacitor, it's 5 times RC, or 5 times the time constant. So it'll be 5 times 1 second. It should take approximately 5 seconds for the capacitor to reach the voltage of the power supply. So let's test it out to see if the calculations are accurate. I'm using a multimeter. You guys, I don't know if the reflection is going to let you see, but let's do it anyways. I have the circuit already connected here. Notice that I have a resistor connected to the positive side of the power rail, and then the capacitor is connected to the resistor, and the negative leg of the capacitor is connected to the negative power rail. And I have a green jumper short circuiting the capacitor, because as soon as I remove the jumper, we're going to see how long it takes for the capacitor to charge. So let's go ahead and use a meter. And I'm powering on the circuit. And let's see, I have a watch right here, and I'm going to time approximately. It doesn't have to be, exact to the milliseconds. All right, so let's see. Oh, and that is, the meter is off. I forgot to turn on the meter. That's okay, we can do it again. As soon as I remove the jumper, it should take somewhere about 5 seconds in order to charge the capacitor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 4.9. It takes about 5 seconds, so the calculation were correct. All right, so the next circuit that I wanted to show you, by the way, one of the advantages of having a regulator is that you can turn on the circuit and turn it off, powering on or powering off the whole breadboard just by using this push button. All right, so the next circuit that I wanted to show you is this voltage indicator, which is a proof of concept. You can use this circuit in order to indicate the level of charge on a battery. You guys can see it right there. Okay, here we go. You can use this circuit in order to indicate the level of charge in a battery or the voltage present in a circuit. So we have a variable power supply, 3 to 5 volts, connected to 2 LEDs. These here are LEDs, light emitting diode. The forward conducting voltage on both of these LEDs are approximately 2 to 2.2 volts. And we also have a 1K resistor connected in series with this LED. So when the voltage present is somewhere around 3 volts, and most of the voltage is going to be dropping across this LED and this resistor. So there will not be enough voltages to turn on this LED. When there is 5 volts or more, now we have enough voltage present to power on both LEDs. So let's take a look at the circuit here. We're not going to need the meter for this. And notice that this is an LED. It has two legs, and one is longer than the other one. The longer leg is the positive, that's the anode, and the shorter leg is the negative. So one leg I'm going to connect it to the positive side of the power supply, and the other one I'm going to connect it to this resistor. And notice that I have a jumper here, my regulator. Right now it is in the 5 volt. Let me show you. And if I notice that both LEDs are on, but if I switch it to the 3 volt position with this jumper right here, one LED is going to come on, okay, indicating that there is only 3 volts in the circuit. If I move it to the 5 volt position, then both LEDs are coming on. All right, so that is the video that I wanted to show you guys. I hope you enjoy, and see you in the next video.